Zoning and Building Committee to order. With the minute taker, please call the roll.
Alderman Ames. Here. Alderman Catalano. Here. Alderman Curielli.
Here.
Alderman Jacob.
Here.
Alderman Messina.
Here.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Here.
Alderman Sismarski.
Here.
Alderman Woods.
Here. Mayor?
Yes, I'd like to call for a moment of silence for retired Sergeant Bob Headley, who served the city for 35 years, from 1969 to 2004. He passed away earlier this week. Bob served in a variety of roles with the police department, and when he retired, he was the afternoon shift watch commander. During his years in Wooddale, Bob was known well by so many of the community members, and his dedication to the community left a lasting legacy. So just a moment of silence. Okay, turn it over back to you, Alderman Woods.
Thank you, Mayor. So next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 14th.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, corrections, changes? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Next, report and recommendation. Rezoning upon annexation from R1 to R4 and lot consolidation of 469 Stoneham Street, formerly known as 17 West 102 Stoneham Street. Is anybody going to say anything? No. Mr. Merman.
Sure, yeah, kind of a no-brainer item tonight. The proposed annexation would obviously help the city in pursuing its desire to annex properties into the city and get them to tap onto the city's water and sewer infrastructure. So we would obviously, upon annexation, everything comes in under R1, but then we would rezone to R4, which would be consistent with the neighboring properties. This item was obviously taken to CDC. It was unanimously passed at CDC without any controversy or protesting from any of the neighbors. So pretty straightforward item.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions? There being none, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is the occupant here?
Pardon me?
Is the person here for that?
I don't know.
I am not sure. I never met
Okay.
the applicant.
I've never met him.
Or the owner? Welcome to Wooddale.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, next items to be considered at future meetings. Route 83 annexation and plan unit development, winter 2020, SPT redevelopment, winter 2022, and uniform development ordinance review, February, March 2022. Is there anything anybody else would like to? There being none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
I'd like to call the Public Works Committee to order. The minute taker note that all the same people are present, I believe. Yes. First, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last committee meeting dated November 10th, 2021.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Right. Any questions? That passes.
All in favor?
Excuse me, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Report and recommendation on approval of a 4-year contract for the brush collection program with Sizak Tree Services in an amount not to exceed $180,600. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second. I have a question.
Motion and a second. Alderman Sismarski.
Is this the brush that's paid for through the garbage contract?
Director Lang.
It is reimbursed by the garbage contract.
Okay,
correct.
and it's the same company we had last year?
It is actually a different company, but this
Okay.
company does our tree removal and our tree trimming in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Director Lang, can you, for the audience, how much of this is being reimbursed by?
This year, it should be 100% of the cost will be reimbursed by the garbage contract. I believe every subsequent year as well.
So $180,600 will be reimbursed?
I believe so, correct. I'd have to verify the reimbursement with our analyst, Kate Buggy, but I believe so.
Well, before I vote, or I imagine anybody votes, is there anybody that can validate that? For the whole year, they're going to, Alderman Curriell?
I think I did the calculations. For the first 4 years, it's fully reimbursed. The last year, it's not.
Okay, completely, that's, okay.
I think it was 36,000 a year.
That's what I'm saying, I don't think it was the full amount, but Alderman Carroll said that it's the first 4 and the last
Year comes down to they're short, like,
minimum.
less than 1,000.
Speak
Hey, Director Wilson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, the Flood Brothers contract provides for $6,500 per collection, and we have spoken to them in the past, and they said if it's within a reasonably close amount to $6,500, they would be willing to kind of go along with that. So looking at the final year is $6,600. I'm sure in 4 years, we can make a compelling argument for slight inflation of $100 from a contract that's 9 years old. So I wouldn't necessarily foresee any issue with getting that $6,600 out in year 4 of that contract. Otherwise, the first 3 years are within the current language, regardless,
Which is
in
what
either
Alderman
regard.
Carroll said, yeah.
Yeah.
So the 4 years will cover us up until, okay. Any other questions? We have a motion? We have a motion, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Ames.
Yes.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Currielli.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes. Next is an approval of an agreement between the City of Wooddale and HR Green for Phase 1 engineering of Elizabeth Drive Trail Extension in an amount not to exceed $34,800. That is my motion.
Second.
Any questions? Good, roll call, please.
Alderman Ames.
Yes.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Currielli.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes. Next up is Public Works Facility Improvements, Bid Release 1. I'm going to pass that off to you, Director Lang.
Thank you, Chairman. As you all likely know, the bid opening was held on Tuesday of this week for the 16 various bid packages associated with the first bid release of the Public Works Facility Improvement projects. This covers the renovation of the 790 building, and we also bid out the metal shell of the new vehicle storage buildings. We'd like to get that ordered due to some longer lead times. Frederick Quinn Construction is currently reviewing all of the bid packages, and they'll have their recommendation letter to us early next week in time for presentation at the council meeting on the 16th. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Alderwoman Ames?
Yes, thank you. I noticed on there that there was not any bids issued for the doors, frames, and hardware, so what happens with that?
Director Lang?
So what Frederick Quinn will do now is they'll reach out to some suppliers and see ways that they can make the bid package more desirable, and they will likely wind up rebidding that. If we don't get bids for it, once again, we have the option, we'll verify with legal, but we have the option to receive proposals for the work instead of bidding.
You have a follow-up?
Yeah, so will that impact, or how will that impact the project moving forward then? Because that's pretty key, the hardware and frames and things like that.
Director Lang?
It is. We're confident that we'll get proposals for it. It's just a matter of seeing why no one wanted to bid on it. It's actually more of a vendor contract. It's not actually installing the work. The vendor supplies the materials to the carpenters who would do the install. So one way or another, we'll get the materials for the door hardware.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Alderman Wood?
Yeah, on the metal building we're approving, so we changed that design to go to the single slope, which looks like it drove that price up fairly significantly, although it wasn't broken out before. kind of guesstimated what it would be. Do we have any idea, or is Quinn saying how much we might be over? Because originally I think we only budgeted 4.5 million or something, and if just the package is pushing 2 million, doesn't leave a lot of room for concrete, foundation, brickwork, and all the other ancillary things.
So Frederick Quinn's estimate of probable cost for the shell of the new vehicle storage building was around 1.5 million. The bids came in, as you saw, around 1.7. There was 2 bids received for that, one being one of the companies that they worked with when they were in the schematic design phase of that project. As far as, you know, total cost, how we're sitting right now, it appears that with the apparent low bidders that we're right at the same estimate that they had for the at the schematic design phase. What they did when they were bidding the new vehicle storage building, they kind of just put out the footprint and allowed these companies to submit using their basic kit of parts, so it gave them some flexibility there. But as far as how the change in that slope of the roof impacted those specific bids, I don't know for certain.
Yeah, so if I,
Go ahead.
so essentially the price just for that component is up about $250,000, $225,000, $250,000. So somewhere we have to try to make that up, or that's going to be an additional price at the end. But just commenting.
Right, and Frederick Quinn can probably provide some more clarity on how that may have changed based on their design of the roof for you at next week's meeting.
Mayor?
Yeah, I actually called Ellen on this and just to see where we stood, and we're still pretty close to budget because, like, if you saw some of the electrical stuff and HVAC stuff, there was some big differences between the lowest and the highest. Would have been nice to get more lower bids, of course, than being right at budget, but I understand it's a process.
Given the economy today, I'll accept that budget.
So, just for clarity, are we looking for direction, or was this more of just a briefing?
This is just more informational right now. We didn't want to put too much stock in those low bids, as FQC has to do their due diligence, of course. So there'll be a larger discussion and a motion at the council meeting when we have some more information for you.
Okay. So in that case, Mayor, can I just move on to the next items to be considered? Or?
One question before you move on, because
Right. Alderman Woods?
yeah, so what you just said, because in those bid tab sheets, it looks like they've already kind of vetted out their cert, their bonds, their other qualifications, so there's going to be another vetting process? Because I'm looking at it and going, it looks like they checked all the boxes, so the low bidder is acceptable, or at least based on the information I was
Director
given.
Lang?
Right, they'll be meeting with all of the apparent low bidders this week and early next week and verifying that they have the complete scope in their proposal and that they'll stand by those proposals, so there's no
Okay.
surprises down the road. And then they want to make sure that, of course, they have the aptitude to complete this project. They have the free schedule available and all staffing and all that kind of stuff. So they will make the recommendation early next week to us that those low bidders are in fact their recommendation.
All right, excellent, thank you.
Anybody else? All righty, thank you, Director Lang. Move on to items to be considered at future meetings. Public Works Facilities Bid Phase 2, winter of 2022. Any other items? I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.
I'd like to call the Order of Finance Administration Committee. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for November 10th, 2021.
Second.
Any questions or corrections? There are none. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is report and recommendation for property, casualty, and workman's compensation insurance renewal. Director Buggy, you got a presentation, or?
Yes, thank you. Just briefly,
Sure.
we renew our property, casualty, and workers' compensation insurance each year. Sorry, I've got a lifesaver. I thought the last one would take longer. Last year, we asked our broker Alliant to go out and do full marketing for the coverage. We tend to alternate years when we do that, a harder outreach versus a softer outreach. Last year, it resulted in a new package with IPRF for our workers' comp and travelers for the rest of our insurance. So this year, we did a softer outreach. We've gotten back a proposal with a small increase of 2% in the non-workers' compensation lines of coverage. We've been informed that anything under 5% is pretty good. For the workers' compensation side, however, we have a bigger increase, which is due to our loss history. So we've been told there's not much we can do about it. Thank you.
Okay. As far as the cyber is to be determined, so we don't know what the price on that's going to be then? I mean, would those
That is-
rates go up? Go ahead.
Yes, that is correct. At this time, we don't know. The broker has gone back out to seek more proposals. Now that we have more information for the cyber, we're hopeful we'll get a good deal.
Alderman Woods?
Yeah, you said we have a higher loss or a risk rating. Can you, without specifics, address what the drivers of that are? How we got that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we had two I don't want to say large, but two pricey accidents in the past 2 years. One is currently in the process of being settled, and it's been at least a year since it started, so it's a large driving factor.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Alderman Sorrentino?
These two claims that you're referring to, are they at fault, or is there a possible subrogation that can reverse this increase due to the loss?
Go ahead.
So they were honest to goodness accidents. So could they affect us further?
No, I was referring, was there an automobile accident where it could be a claim against a third party, another party?
Go ahead.
I see. Thank you for clarifying. No, it does not involve a third party. They were freak accidents, slips, trips, and falls, that sort of thing.
Go ahead, follow up.
Follow-up, you had mentioned a couple of times you were told something about 5% is the average and we're coming in at 2%, and you made reference about another comment that you were told. Who told you that?
Go ahead.
That was Alliant, our broker, our insurance broker.
The guy who's getting paid a commission to sell you the policies, correct? Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions? If there are none, roll call, please.
Need a motion.
I think I made a motion. And then-
All right, what are we voting on? There's no price. No. We made a motion for the minutes. Nobody made a motion on this yet.
Okay,
Well, we don't know price.
okay. I'll take that back.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Go ahead. So this is just directions to continue as far as coming back with price-wise on the insurance. So we're just moving forward then. Go ahead.
The cyber would be a separate line item, or
Okay.
a separate agenda item, so that would be a separate price. So I apologize, let me put the numbers together quick.
When is the renewal date?
So it's 358,000 for the workers' comp, and 196,000 for the non-workers' comp package total. It is an increase of about 40 some odd thousand dollars from our previous package.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Pretty big stink about a garbage contract. We just
Hold on.
this one right under the
Hold on.
Question. You said 358,000 for the work comp, but I see 358,479. Correct? Is that the correct number? No, I want to make sure we get the right number for the minutes.
Go ahead.
Yes, so it's actually 372,367, but then we also receive a $13,888 grant, which decreases the net cost to $358,479.
plus then the 196, 495.
Yes, correct. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure she has it correct in the minutes, that's all.
So then we're voting on the amounts, but not on the cyber one, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, Alderman.
How long is this for? Is this like a yearly clock? Like, how long is this for?
554, 970.
Go ahead.
Yes, yes, this is for a year. It's always renewed for a year, starts with the calendar year.
Thank you.
Alderman Messina?
Can I confirm that number? Is it 358,479?
Page 116 of the packet.
Alderman Jacob?
Yeah, with the cyber, do they foresee any problems? I know, I mean, my line of work, I work with insurance brokers, and cyber and property are the biggest issues right now in insurance in general.
Go ahead.
Yes, that seems to be the case. You know, it's been harder. We had very short notice that all of a sudden cyber wanted much more. And from what we're hearing from other municipalities and our liaison, cyber's gotten a little extreme, and they've been a little more difficult to pin down.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Just my own ignorance, when is the renewal date on these, the property casualty and work comp? I don't have anything.
Go ahead.
January 1st, 2022.
So, right around the corner, okay.
Any more questions? Roll call?
Alderman Ames.
Yes.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Currielli.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Yes.
Alderman Sismarski.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next items to consider at future meetings, CIP, January 14th, 2022, and the budget coming up February 24th, 2022.
2 weeks.
Any other items to consider? If there are none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We adjourn. Thank you.
All right, all right.
How's it?